Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. I find myself humming and whistling my own little intro music a lot lately. Mr. Cow agrees with me, isn't that right, Mr. Cow? That's right. Don't let them tell you nothing, Mr. Cow. You're cute. So, welcome to another episode of Unique Items. I have a couple pieces of jewelry left that I haven't done videos on, and one in particular is the Dwarf Star ring. The Dwarf Star ring is a relatively awesome ring that when you find one, you're absolutely enthralled and amazed by it. But later on, when you find 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 or 30 of them, you're not so enthralled anymore. But it's still a very good ring to keep around for a lot of reasons. Number one, let's go over the item. So we have a level requirement of 45, which means it's a relatively low-level item. It has a very nice amount of life on here, of plus 40, which is very, very nice, and 40 to maximum stamina, which is not so great, plus 15% heal stamina, which again is not so amazing. At level 45, usually you've fixed your stamina issues, so you're not really too worried about those. We also have a fire absorb of 15%, which is pretty amazing. What this does is that any fire damage that comes in from any source will be absorbed, essentially, completely nullified, and then it will heal you for the same amount. So, for instance, if you get hit for 100 fire damage, 15% of 100 is, of course, 15, and then you will take the remainder, which is going to be what, 85? That's my quick math terrible. 85 damage, and then you're going to heal for 15 as well, because that's how Fire Absorb work. It doesn't just reduce the damage; it also heals you for the damage. We also have magic damage reduced by 15 on here, which means it's also going to reduce an additional 15 off of the damage as well. And of course, the Fire Absorb is something that actually applies, I think, after your resistances do. So you have to keep that in mind as well. So the Fire Absorb plus the magic damage reduced by 15 are really amazing, and you also get the 100% extra gold for monsters, which makes this a pretty solid choice for a gold find barbarian. You can rock 2 of these, and you can have 200% extra gold for monsters from these, as well as pretty much make you immune to fire, which would make you a really awesome council farmer, because you'd have 30% fire absorb, 30 magic damage reduced by, which would pretty much completely kill the damage from hydras, by the way, and give you 200% extra gold for monsters with a 80 to life as well. So very, very nice rings in general. I usually like to keep a Dwarf Star because it's a very small item, usually sitting in my my cube. And the reason for this is because there are always situations where you run across monsters that deal massive amount of fire damage. I found myself in a situation one time during an Uber run where the Uber run kind of went bad. I was in there with a group, and the group had all completely died, and I was surrounded by by the pit lords who were all trying to murder me with Inferno, and I found myself slowly dying. And so I put on a Dwarf Star, and I put on a Dragon Shield, and I found myself healing from the fire instead, and it kept me alive, which was very, very useful. You can utilize this ring on a myriad of characters and with a myriad of equipment. You can put a Raven Frost on and a Dwarf Star, so you can get cold and fire absorption. You can also put on a Blackthorn's face, a Thunder God's belt, and relatively quite a few other items to really stack up the fire absorption. You can also stack this with a Rising Sun amulet for some raw fire absorb, and even some Hellmouth gauntlets to really stack on the fire absorption. So you could do 2 Dwarf Stars and get 30% fire absorb. Then you could get a Rising Sun and a Hellmouth War Gauntlets, and you could get raw fire absorb, and both of those stack together in very interesting ways. The percentage, of course, is going to help you against the larger numbers, and the raw absorb is going to help you versus the smaller numbers. And in general, they just work really well in tandem. Dwarf Star ring is not super hard to come by, and I can already tell you that one of the best places to farm this is going to be Nightmare and Dariel. But for the purposes of the video, let's go over and take a look at Silo's Pen, and we'll have a look and see at what the best probability area is. That is not the correct video. Button. That one is. So here we go. We're going to go to the Dwarf Star ring. Actually, you know what? I don't even think the rings... Are the rings on here? The rings are on here. Yes, yes, they are. Okay. So Dwarf Star. We're going to do bosses. We're going to pretend we have 150% magic find because this is a lower level item. It's only level 45. And we're going to look at probability. And there you go. Hell Andorial. 1 in 333 chance. Which is pretty much what I expected. Andorial is generally one of the best places for this kind of item. Trying to see if there's any nightmare item. It looks like Balin Normal has a chance to drop this at 1 in 575. That's not bad for a normal difficulty Bale. That's the quest kill, though. Looks like non-quest kill is 1 in 869 right there. Not bad either. I mean, honestly, it's not a particularly hard ring to come by. As I joked in the beginning, that you'll be excited the first time you find one, and then you'll find like 2 or 3 more. I generally find Dwarf Stars a lot. Let's take a look at super uniques as well. So it does look like the Countess has a pretty good chance in Hell difficulty. Hephaestus the Armor in Nightmare, he'd be pretty easy to farm. The Cow King in Nightmare difficulty, not bad. Trying to see if there's any good ones here. Shank the Overseer in Nightmare at 1 in 8,251. Not a bad monster to farm. Pindleskin in Nightmare at 1 in 8,289. Also not bad. So it looks like you could do the Pindleskin, Shank the Overseer, Eldritch the Rectifier, Thresh Socket, and Doc Farron run. In Hell difficulty, Bone Ash is a pretty good chance there, and also Rockanishu. So Rockanishu, Bone Ash, and Treehead Woodfist all have pretty good chances to drop a Harlequin Crest Shaka, which is a rather sought-after item, as well as Bishy Bosh here. So you could probably farm Bone Ash, Bishy Bosh, Rockanishu, and Treehead Woodfist in Hell difficulty. That would be a pretty good combination. Not bad. You can also kill Andoriel while you're at it as well. So all in all, I think that the Dwarf Star is one of those very interesting items that is good to have around. I think it's always nice to have 1 or 2 in your stash or in your Herodric Cube, just so you can utilize them in those clutch situations where you need fire absorption. But if you don't need fire absorption, then it really comes down to the extra gold for monsters, in my opinion. They do work very well on a energy shield sorceress because of the magic damage reduced by 15, which is very, very effective for those particular characters. So if you are an energy shield sorceress, you might want to consider using a Dwarf Star. There are some other items, though, that you could go for, but that magic damage reduced by is really high. All in all, I don't really think that the Dwarf Star has a specific character that it's good for. And it can be combined with a lot of other items like Bevert's Keep, like Inferno Strides, Hotspur Boots, Rising Sun Amulet, Hellmouth Gauntlets, and you can even potentially combine it with other absorption items, like, for instance, Raven Frost, Wisp Projector, T-Gods, and so forth and so on. That can give you, other effects, and you can have, fire absorption, cold absorption, and lightning absorption all at the same time. It's very, very nice to try and to use this to make a character who is essentially immune to all elements, right? Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and Mr. Cow says thank you as well. Isn't that right, Mr. Cow? Yes. And if you haven't seen, I do have a giveaway going on. I'm not sure if you guys have entered yet, but do be sure to go over to the entry video and take a look. There is a giveaway going on for a Arm of King Leoric wand. This is a real Arm of King Leoric wand. You're probably going to have to be a necromancer to use the special abilities, but that's okay. You can respec into the necro class, right? And as always, thanks for watching and keep watching.